So good afternoon to everyone who's joined today. I know there are some people, new people who've joined us today for the first time. So welcome. And what I would ask you guys to do is put your mics on mute so that we're able to focus better, because when there is background noise, it's a bit difficult. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen with you. First, we will go through the case study where we stopped yesterday, and then we will get into looking at try to answer a question, right? Plus, I will go through E2, P2, some of the areas, okay? Because that'll help. I think prior to the question, I will go through the E2, P2 areas, some of them, because the question is related to one model, right? So let me share the screen with you now. Right. We spoke about Spark Space, the role that you're performing. You're a finance manager. You're looking at management accounting. You'll be doing some budgets as well, preparing budgets and the management accounting functions that you will be doing, right? So the pricing decisions, forecasting and things like that. And you're also looking at special projects, pricing of special projects, right? Then we looked at what the company background and what sort of industry it is in. So it's in technology, and things change constantly with technology, and you are basically Sparkspace is supplies and supports IT infrastructure, primarily in the form of servers. Now this type of business is very it's in the up, and that means it's getting more and more popular. People are opting, the companies are opting for other specialists to go and take on the management of infrastructure for them. By this, they will be reducing their cost of managing IT, and IT becomes a commodity rather than paying a fixed cost, right? So that is the idea behind it. Companies like HP, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, they provide this type of service as well. Now, and again, we looked at what sort of a product that they work very closely with their supplier. They work as a value-added reseller. So the Sparkspace provides a lot more value than a normal retailer would do, and this can be seen in the type of people that are there, right? Sochi, you have raised your hand. Is there a question that you want to ask me, or is it by mistake? Right. So I'll go on. So the kind of customers they have are quite specialist, right? The customers do have special kind of requirements that these people support. Now, what sort of services do they offer? They come into the pre-sales, consultancy, installation and maintenance and assembly as well. So when it comes to pre-sales, they will work with their clients to work and see what are their key requirements and work with the vendors to obtain this type of machines, right? Because these are quite specialist in nature. Now, still I can hear from one student there's a lot of noise in the background. If you can put your mics on mute, please. Thank you. Then we look at the type of product on offer, right? We talk about the hardware, the servers. We look at the data centers. So they're looking at blade servers, and then how it comes together. Now the key thing here is, don't get hung up about the technology side of it. They'll just think of it as, okay, they have these types of servers, but what does it really, what are the things that is impacting the servers? So today we might think about blade servers and such, but tomorrow it might be a different thing because of technology. So there is a chance of changing. There's a high chance of changes that may happen, right? We also talk about data centers. So what you need to consider is that the consumption of electricity of these data centers, it's quite high, and if there is a way that you can reduce the consumption, that'll be great, right? And they have come up with a way of reducing the consumption, and we will see it sometime later, I think. All right, so that is an ongoing cost. You need to consider and see how you can reduce it. Now they talk about the supercomputers and data processing. In here we're talking about what it was in 2008 and what will be in 2020, right? So we are looking at very fast computers. The processing time is really fast, but you need to think about you need to have the proper cooling, etc., and the tolerance to failure should be quite low, right? And you also look at what sort of a research that they're involved in, and we look at they are involved, working quite closely with certain companies, like in the weather area, who they work with them very closely for these other customers to get their clients to get the best information, right? So Spark Space actually becomes an enabler to these their clients, because the clients' businesses will be prosperous, will be really good, will the others will want these services only if Spark Space can offer the clients a really good technology, right? So they are heavily reliant on Spark Space for that. Now Spark Innovate, we took a look at that. You see there's a lot of money being spent on this. They also look at students getting involved, and universities, you're working with universities to work in this space of R&D, right? So I want to stop here and find out any other did you have a look at R&D, the treatment of R&D, how we're going to work with it? Any ideas? Any ideas from anyone? If you put your hand up, if you're aware of R&D, how you're going to be treating this. Yes, Suchi, you put your hand up. Suchi, you want to have a go at it? Right. Anyone else? Alan, how about you? Are you able to talk to us? Oh, Gavin, what do you think? The R&D. Mm-hmm. Right. So please remember, you need to have a look at this. We will look at this area. I wanted you to have a look at it as well, but we will go a little bit deeper into it in the I will get Sunday to look at the F3 and look at a little bit more on the R&D for you, because it's important. The reason is they're spending a lot of money. It is long-term speculative, right? How do we treat it? So from a CSR angle, there is a point here as well where they spend money and invest and work with the universities for the greater good, right? So let us go into the next page. So meeting clients' needs, and we saw here that every project that they undertake is very unique in nature. And because of that, each project may have a separate risk characteristic. Each one will have to treat it in a different way, right? And the set of the people that we work with will be different as well. So it is not something very repetitive or in nature. So in that case, it might be quite expensive, right? And every time it's something new. Now they also say they recognize the value for money is key concern when the client specifies a server, right? So what they also work is with open source systems, and also the kind of servers, generally what is brought in is generic servers. However, what SparkSpace does is they basically differentiate it in multiple ways, right? They provide value added service. They also have some patent ideas, right, which brings a lot of benefit to their clients, right? Now they talk about big data and the ability of big data, and for you to process this kind of data, you need a lot of processing power. That's important. Now you can't have small servers working this way. So this is the reason why they've gone in. Now they're going into an area where not only the large companies, but also a smaller company should be able to get this services. Now, talking about big data, one of the biggest issues that you will come across is the expertise. It's not everybody who has this expertise. Now, maybe SparkSpace is in a place to offer this expertise as well, right? So there is something about friendly pay here, one of their clients, right? So what is the opportunity here? How can they develop it? I want to ask a question from you guys. So I want one of you to put up your hand, or multiple people. I will ask the question. So is there anybody who would be able to answer? How about you, Wilfred? Will you be able to answer? So what I'm looking for is friendly pay is a good client. Now, what is the potential that we got with them, and the kind of industry that these guys are in? What about Alan? Are you able to talk to us, Alan? Alan, yeah, can you talk to us?
Hello?
Yeah, can hear you.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't read the printed material, that's why.
Sorry?
I haven't read the printed material.
You haven't read the pre-sale. Yeah. Right, but that's all right. You can see it now. Now, what we're saying is friendly pay is a very good client of theirs, right? So basically they require this kind of specialist product that these guys offer. So the product being, of course, the servers. So what do you think that the potential that Sparkspace have in this kind of industry? What do you think? Right, I'm going into someone else. Anybody? Kumari, what do you think? So this is not a technical question as such, but this is from a business angle. I'm asking the question. Any views? Yeah, Janaki, you wanna have a go at it?
This relates to technology frauds that's happening around in the world. I think these type of support will help the people in detecting the frauds in a real-time manner. In the paragraph, one line says the fraud is the fraud value cost of what is it? Cost of running the loss is come down. So I think this will help the industry leaders to choose this platform and then benefit from the whole to not only to get online what do you say support, but also to reduce the frauds.
Right.
Exactly, I'm not able to explain, but I think technology frauds are it is the day it's happening now. Everybody is trying to curtail the loss through the online channels.
Correct. So FriendlyPay is one of the payment gateway providers, right? This company offers merchant the ability to take payments from their customers in a source and convenient manner, in a secure and convenient manner. So this is one. There might be many like FriendlyPay, right?
Yeah.
So what we see is if Sparkspace can offer this type of really secure and good service and work with FriendlyPay, similarly they have the opportunity to work with others as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And they can move, even with this particular product, they can go across into different countries. Offering the same product, you go into different countries. So that is in the ANSOF matrix is existing product, new market, right? That's the kind of growth we are looking at. Thank you. Thanks, Janaki. So what we are going to do is now go into, one second, we're looking at the meteorological systems. Again, we see this type of company requires a lot of computing, right? Processing. And you can see in this last line, something that took them 2 hours, now because of this new way of doing things, they take only 4 minutes. Significant saving of time, as well as you get up-to-date information, immediately, which gives both the client and a client to actually promote their products further to their own business, and Sparkspace becoming a true partner to this particular client, right? So it's not just a matter of me selling the product to the client and walking away, but basically we are looking at how best that we can offer these services to the client, in a more engaging, more strategic partnership manner. So the future, where are we? Sparkspace undoubted success in the HPC market has led to creative collaborations. For example, the process manufacturer Memochip has designated Sparkspace as its preferred vendor. So not only your clients, but also the kind of the manufacturers want to work with Sparkspace because they think they're pretty good, and it's good good business, right? So these guys have Sparkspace has a really good very good reputation and good work ethic, I believe. Now we've given the directors, right? Who are they? Joel, you get the CEO, finance, innovation, operations, HR, sales, and marketing. These are these directors, right? Now we look at their opportunities and threats. Now there is quite a lot of opportunities, and how are we going to exploit these opportunities is the question, right? And when we look at the opportunities, we look at growing market for technology, worldwide interest in technology, potential to exploit innovations from research department, right? So how can we, when we are looking at exploiting these opportunities, what sort of models would we be looking at? I want to see if you can think of about two models that you would say, right, I know there's an opportunity. In order for me to exploit this, I want to look at it in a more strategic sense. So what model can I apply? Right? If you put your hand up, I'll come to you and I will want you to explain that a little bit more to me, right? So let's see who's able to explain this. Janaki, what you can also do is switch off your camera, because we only want the audio and not the video. Thank you. So anybody who wants to explain to me how you go about these opportunities. Thank you, Janaki. About these opportunities. So Wilfred, how about you? Are you in a position to talk to us today? Yes, Gavin.
You're talking about how you exploit the opportunity?
Correct. Yes.
Models that you use?
Yes. Yeah. Correct. Now we know there is a growing market, worldwide interest. So we don't have an issue there. You know, we're not in a market. Yeah.
Maybe an ANSOF model, ANSOF matrix.
Right.
That's a strategy. Which strategy that you should do you go with your existing products, or do you grow with new products in the new markets?
Yeah, good.
And then you can test that market. You can do a festival of the environment. If it's not your existing, even if it's your existing market, you can do a festival. And if it's a new market, you can do a festival as well.
Right. Yeah, so you're doing, what you're saying is look at the ANSOF and then you do a pestle analysis as well, because ANSOF in itself is not sufficient. You need to do a pestle to basically see political, economical, social, technological, all these angles you need to look and see. You're doing a strategic investment, strategic direction you're moving into, right? So you need to understand how you're gonna how the other environment factors will impact. Another thing that you will look at is the SAF-S model, right? Suitability, acceptability, feasibility plus sustainability. That's an area that you will look as well, right? So one second.
Andrew,
go on.
So Andrew, now say you find an opportunity meaning, so say an opportunity can be a new market or a new product which you are not in, which you feel that there is an opportunity to grow in that. Now if you look at this briefing,
yes,
when we go further, they talk about cloud computing.
Correct.
There are the small companies do not have the I thought first these guys are doing that, but apparently they are not doing this cloud computing, they are doing other services.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the next step would be cloud computing, where they need to host servers and get smaller companies using their servers.
Correct.
So So you will, would you do a festival first and answer, or it all comes together?
I would
You do
say
everything.
it all
Surface
works together, right? It complements each other.
each
So
other.
basically, you will do a SAF as well independently. You will do, the pestle goes into more detail, like yeah, the SAF can be right like at the beginning, and then a pestle to see the components, and then you can also do product wise, market wise. Yeah, go on.
I think an answer might be in terms of initially when you are, when you start the process, saying that yes, broadly this is what we want to do. Then if you are you're taking up the project, then you do the test,
Yes,
and then you do the festival together.
correct.
Saying,
Yeah, yeah. So in that sense, these all of these give you that kind of good structure, so that you're able to see, make a decision in a informed manner. Because the thing is, it's not it's a strategic decision that you will be making. It's not easy. Yeah, it's not an easy thing. So because if you make the wrong decision, you're going to be actually exposing high risks, and it's bad for everybody. The shareholders are going to suffer as well. So in order to make, it's not an operational decision. So please remember, these are not operational decisions, these are strategic decisions, because it's going to impact you in the long term, right? And we see threats: rapidly growing competitors, new sources of competition, low cost substitutes, low margin on products, high marketing spend by competitors. How would you try to reduce this?
And when they talk about low margins and products, I don't know what they mean. You're having a net margin of 20%, and they're better than their competitors also. So no.
So basically, what they're saying is, maybe you certain, if you're talking about a particular product, right? A computer, let's say a PC or a particular server, on that particular one the margin would be very small because of the low, because of the number of competitors in the market, right? Because it doesn't matter to me, I can buy a server from you or any other 4 people down the street, right? You're going to give me a server. Why would I come to you? That you have to give me something, something special, right? Your service, the value added activities need to be something more than others will give me. That's the reason why I come to you. Now, how do you think we can reduce this threat? I have got threats and I'm in this market. How do you think that I can reduce this threat? I want some answers from others as well, please. This is a very interactive session, so I want people to discuss it with me, right? So, what do you guys think? I want some people to talk to me. Don't be afraid. Don't feel shy, because it's okay to make comments here, make mistakes, because before the exam everything is fine, right? At the exam we don't want it to happen. So you might want to explore an idea, you might not know whether it's right or wrong, but say it, right? How do you think you can reduce the threat, right? You've got some products that you have offering in the market. Market is good, it's growing, but also there is competition, rivalry, right? So if you look at your 5 forces, there are problems there. So what do you think? Sachi, anything from you?
I think this company can go for contracts or like a long-term agreements with the customers,
Right.
so that it will reduce the competition and they could like serve better and more on a longer term.
Right, that's good. Yeah, so what you're saying is let us build a long term relationship with the supplier rather than a transactional. Yeah, which is very good. And then I'm more looking at from a value chain perspective. I'm serving to the value chain. I'm making sure that the customer gets value from my product, and I enhance his or her product as well to their customers, right? So this is going to be a very good thing. Now you become a strategic partner, right? You become a strategic partner so that you see, well, this is kind of a good thing to do, because your customer, then your client, is not going to go with each and every other competitor. You'd remove the money aspect from them because you're providing a value added service, right? So always try to think, how can I provide a value added service to the customers? Anything else from anyone? Right, now let us go into CEO's report, right? What do you see in this CEO's report that's quite interesting? Is there anything here that gives us a message? So they say this will undoubtedly enhance Spark's reputation in the market for high performance computers, right? So they have got a very good reputation in the market. Then they're talking about potential of developments such as big data, right? He's talking about that. They have increased the growth in terms of volume and value. Okay, so this is pretty good year for them. And you can see there has been profit for the year has increased, and I will not spend a lot of time in this area because I want to go a little bit more into the analysis. Now this is an interesting thing, and this is kind of the first time I see this. They have come up with job vacancies at Sparkspace, and there are several job vacancies. What do you think? Why do you think this is? Why do you think? Sorry?
It's very surprising when I saw this. There are about 5
Correct. Definitely there's gonna be some questions, right, on this, because they are not going to waste so many pages. If you see, I think 3 or 4 pages about certain vacancies.
5 vacancies also.
Sorry?
I've talked about 5 vacancies they're talking about.
Correct.
And in terms of...
Yes. Now this vacancy is on engineer, right? Location regional. They talk about repair systems responding to prioritize faults in a timely manner. So responsibilities, repair systems responding, right? Okay, fine. Now we understand that. Then they say, in this it's very clearly stated, security cleared. Yeah. Then we go to another one, which is in the factory, right? That one.
I'm just wondering that they're having issues with service.
Yes, there is something.
Because here if you talk about
correct.
Maintaining records on all elements for SLA, service level agreement.
Yes.
Here they talk about service, then defect-free product,
correct. Yes.
So maybe the questions should come on.
So in this case, I'm looking at TQM, total quality management, right? And it's an interesting space, and you say, right, okay, that's one. It's in the factory. Let us look at the third one, software. Guidance for customers in the use and deployment of the operating system's software stack. Right now, they are looking at somebody to help them, right? Help the customer. Good customer manners, good timekeeping. So let us now, we looked at two things where in the factory and one in the customer. Let's look at the next one, right? Again, this is in quality management. Yeah, this also focuses on quality management, and another one, okay.
The one bottlenecks in the factory.
Yes. Now, the thing is, we have got quite a number of staff in the factories that we are working in. So, what do you read into this? What do you read into this?
That Spark says to expand their business.
Yes, one thing is expansion. Another one?
I think they have issues with customer service. In terms of retain, they could have it.
Quality issues? Question mark? Yeah. And customer? Yeah.
Production bottlenecks, anyway, they are at 100% capacity. So I think they are trying to minimize breakdown, so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah. So
I think they're focusing as well on their after sale services.
More focus on services, yeah, after sale.
After sales, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm asking you guys now, is there a possibility that they can work? Now you can see all of them physical presence. Now you're talking about, I have specialist customers, right? I have specialist customers and they work with them quite closely. So one of the things that we can have is to, I'm looking at people who are not physically present but who can be reached from any part of the world, and they give these customers guidance on how to operate and so on and so forth, because that is one thing that is there, right? Is that something that you will look at? Because you can have a person visiting the customer, physical presence is also there, but also then you can supplement, I mean, otherwise this you will have to have 10-15 people working with your customers physically, but also if you have someone remotely helping and a physical presence, you're able to reduce your the cost, but also provide that service. What do you guys think of that? Is it something viable? Any ideas?
Yeah, Anju, I need to maybe do a bit more research. I think what I understand of this case is they provide the hardware and they do the maintenance of these items. So they don't do any software. They don't do any software. This is what, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand they don't do any software. So a remote person, maybe helping them out would be on some software issues. But if there is problems with the hardware, then maybe you need a physical person. But maybe if they are moving into cloud computing and all that, then maybe software issues would but there again, it is primarily hardware. I don't know.
Yeah. Just looking at this,
because they talk about providing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So looking at this, guidance for customers in the use and deployment of the operating system software stack, right? Basically, you are looking at some kind of support, maintaining records of all elements of SLA conformance on system performance, activity reports, fault documentation. So there's a lot of things that they do from a processing point of view, and you're maintaining some servers or whatever it is of customers. So there's a lot of back-end stuff that you do, right? Admin stuff, right? So that's where you might be able to use somebody remotely as well, right? Now let us go to the next part of it, because we will come into TQM. Spark Innovate projects aim to make supercomputing affordable, right? Now if you read this, what does it mean? So basically, again, we are saying, how can we give supercomputing, high performance computing, which cost quite a lot, to people who have the need but do not have the means, right? So this is where they are working, you can see, and some financial support from the government under a joint funding initiative. They are doing kind of a public-private partnership initiatives as well, right? In this case, so they are quite heavily involved in an area where they support people and organizations who require this kind of supercomputing, the big data analytics, but do not have the means, right? Then they talk about SMEs can see the value of supercomputing, right? Again, they are looking at giving this the ability of computing to everybody, right? Even if you're a smaller company, they are giving you that ability, because it's becoming more and more affordable, trying to make it a commodity rather than a luxury item, right? And only very few can afford. Then they say Spark Space survey confirms need for investment in order to exploit big data, right? So you